Hello and welcome back to the Chenggang YouTube channel. Today we are going to be looking at if Peter Sagan can take back the green jersey before we reach Paris in just over a week's time. So I've gone through all the stage we've got left. I've looked at where the intermediate sprints are, I've looked at the finishes, I've looked at how many climbs we've got, and I have allocated points every sprint along the way to see if Sagan can get it back where I think they'll finish. So as it stands now, Peter Sagan is on 186 points and Sam Bennett is on 252. There's 66 points between them. On flat stages there are 70 points available if you win both sprints on the day, so it's not impossible in any way, shape or form. But without any further ado, let's go through to stage 14. So stage 14, Clermont-Ferrand to Lyon. The intermediate sprint is very, very early in the day, just after a quick fourth category climb, so I think there may be a breakaway, a small one, so I don't think there'll be maximum points on the line for the peloton, but I do believe Sam Bennett will get there first. So I've given Sam Bennett 11 points for the intermediate sprint there on stage 14 and Sagan 8, because I've seen a few other sprinters up there competing, and also Quickstep have been really, really good at getting a lead out man in between Bennett and Sagan, mop up those extra points. However, there's a few big climbs on that day. If you haven't watched our preview of the day and you're watching this before the stage, make sure you do. But I don't think Bennett will make it over, but I do think Sagan will. Yeah, I think Quickstep will send Alaphilippe on the final climb of the day and a few people will chase, so I've given Sagan 16 points on the line and Sam Bennett none, because I don't believe he'll be there at the finish, even though it's categorised as a sprint stage. So if we move now to stage 15, which is the Grand Colombier stage, the sprint is really, really early on in the day, which is obviously good for Sam Bennett, and it's completely flat up until there. Well, it's not early in the day, but it's before any difficulties. Yet I believe Peter Sagan will want to go in the breakaway. We've seen him do it before, and we've seen him do it multiple times. So I've given Peter Sagan 4 points on the intermediate sprint there, 20 points for Peter Sagan. And I think it will be a big breakaway, being the almost a queen stage of this year, so big mountain. So I've given Sam Bennett just 4 points. I think he'll be first across the line in the bunch, but I do believe that there'll be a big breakaway, so he won't be able to mop up too many. And on the finishing stage 15, I don't see either of them picking up points. It's the top of the Colombier, so that one is ruled out. So then if we move on to stage 16, which is La Tour du Pin du Villard de Lons, there are the intermediate sprint again is before most of the difficulties on the day, so I don't believe Sam Bennett will be dropped. I do believe there'll be a breakaway of 3 riders or so I've given Sam Bennett 13 points, so 4th on the intermediate sprint there, and Peter Sagan 10. Again, Quickstep have been good at getting lead out men in the way, and they're also all the other sprinters. And once again on the finish, I cannot see either of them being anywhere near scoring points, so zeros on the finish there. Then if we move to stage 17, we have got a intermediate sprint early on in a day. That is again a mountain stage with a big flat point before the sprint. So again, I've pictured a big breakaway which will have Peter Sagan involved. So I've given Peter Sagan maximum 20 points again on this day, and I've given Sam Bennett 7. So I think there'll be a fairly big breakaway, not quite as big as the other day, but their points will still be ticking over. And once again, it's another one where I cannot see either of them picking up points at the finish line. Stage 18 is the stage from Méribel to La Roche-sur-Foron. Intermediate sprint is fairly early, but there is a horrible, horrible short steep climb right at the start of the day. So I have given Sam Bennett no points, which is probably the most risky decision I've said, and I've given Peter Sagan 8, because again I think there will be a breakaway out in front, and same story as always, no points on the finish line. So stage 19, Bourg-en-Bresse to Champagnole. Very, very flat, the intermediate sprint Sam Bennett should be there for, but there probably will still be a breakaway just about hanging at that point. So I've given Sam Bennett 13 points, 4th across the line, that's a 3-man breakaway, and Peter Sagan 9 points, 3 places behind Bennett. Again, just thinking about having watched the racing and things like that, I just can't see Sagan beating Bennett in these sprints when it's a fair sprint, and Quickstep have been so good tactically at mopping up points and everything like that, so that's why I put him there. And on the finish line, I've got Sam Bennett coming 2nd and Peter Sagan finishing in 6th, so that'll be 30 points for Bennett and 14 points for Sagan. Stage 20 to time trial, I don't see either of them coming in the top 15, so I'm not even going to discuss that. Then the Paris stage. So heading into Paris, stage 21, the final sprint stage, there's 70 points on the line if you win the intermediate sprint and the final sprint, so Sagan could still be in it, as there would be just a 39-point gap between the two of them. However, I can't see Sagan doing that. I've given Bennett 17 points for the intermediate sprint because I don't know, sometimes they let these lone breakaways go out there. I know they tend to chase them down, but just erring on the side of caution, and Sagan 10 points. Then I do believe Sam Bennett will take his second Tour de France stage win in Paris, take the 50 point, and I think Sagan will come 5th and take 16. So then if we look at the final standings, it would be an 80-point victory for Sam Bennett, 397 points to 317 over Peter Sagan. Yeah, obviously this is all hypothetical, and this is by no way means it's going to happen, but I just cannot see Sagan clawing this back now. I thought I'd sit down and do the maths and see if I could. But yeah, and I actually felt I was being a bit generous to Sagan on a lot of these stages, so I think barring any major problems, I think we're likely to see Sam Bennett being the first Irishman since Sean Kelly to take home a green jersey, and I'm sure it'll be paraded around Ireland for years to come. Thank you for watching this video on the Chain Gang. Be sure to subscribe by clicking on the screen now, and here is another video recommended to you by YouTube.